The Unexpected Human. Part 1. The golden sky of Nexara stretched over the barren hills as Zorla stepped from her scout ship. She brushed her scaled fingers against the unfamiliar terrain. Her species had conquered 17 planets, but this one, called Earth, seemed different somehow. Zorla was the highest-ranking female officer in the Nexaran fleet, tall with shimmering blue scales and piercing silver eyes. Her mission was simple: scout the area, capture a human for study and report back. So had done this many times on other worlds. The human settlement lay just beyond the hill, small and vulnerable compared to the mighty cities of her homeworld. Zorla activated her cloaking device and moved silently toward the cluster of buildings. Her scanner indicated only one human present, perfect for a quick capture. In a small house at the edge of town, Lily worked alone. She was fixing old equipment in her workshop, unaware of the alien presence approaching. Her red hair was tied back as she focused on the strange metal device she had found while hiking. None of the other townsfolk believed her stories about strange lights in the sky, but Lily knew something was out there. Zorla paused at the window, studying the human female with curious eyes. The scanner showed something unusual about this human, higher brain activity than their research suggested possible. Her superiors would be pleased with this specimen. Zorla prepared her stun weapon. The door opened silently as Zorla slipped. Inside, her cloaking technology made her nearly invisible. Just a slight shimmer in the air as she moved. Lily continued working, completely unaware of the danger behind her. Zorla raised her weapon and prepared to fire. A sudden beeping sound came from the device Lily was working on. The human jumped back. Startled, Zorla froze as the human turned and looked directly at her. Despite the cloaking technology, Lily gasped, dropping her tools. How could this human see through advanced Nexaran technology? Impossible. Lily spoke calmly, despite her racing heart. I can see you. I know you're there. Zorla deactivated her cloaking device, revealing her full form to the human, expecting fear or panic. Instead, Lily stood her ground, eyes wide, but steady. You're beautiful, said Lily without a trace of fear. No human had ever reacted this way. Zorla lowered her weapon, confused by this unexpected response. The human should be terrified, screaming, running. But this one just watched with curious eyes. What are you doing on my planet? Asked Lily. Zorla hesitated, unsure how to proceed. The protocol was clear: stun, capture, transport. But something about this human made her pause. My fleet is preparing to conquer your world, Zorla said. We have done this 17 times. Before, your species is primitive compared to ours. Lily nodded slowly, picking up the device she had been working on. Zorla noticed it now, recognized it as a piece of Nexaran technology. How had this human acquired it? This is yours, isn't it? Asked Lily. I found it in the hills after the lights. I knew someone would come for it. I've been studying it. Zorla stepped closer, amazed at what the human had done. The device was a standard communication module, but Lily had somehow modified it, improved it. That should be impossible for a species at this technological level. You changed it, Zorla said. How did you understand it? Lily shrugged. I just figured it out. Your power source was inefficient. I made it better. Zorla took the device, examining the modifications. The human had indeed improved it, creating a power amplification system that even Nexaran engineers hadn't developed. This changed everything. My commanders believe your species is primitive, said Zorla. They plan to conquer, harvest resources, move on. But you are not what we expected. Outside the small house, darkness began to fall. Zorla knew her ship would send search parties if she didn't return soon. She made a decision that would change the course of history for both species. Will others of your kind fight back? Asked Zorla. Lily smiled. Of course, we always fight for our home, but we would rather make friends than war. Zorla had never encountered this concept before. On her world, conquest was the only path to greatness. The strong survived, the weak perished. But this human, this Lily, spoke of cooperation instead of domination. The Nexaran fleet will arrive in 3 cycles, said Zorla. I was sent to prepare for their arrival. Lily stood taller, her eyes flashing with determination. Then we have 3 cycles to change their minds. This human showed courage despite knowing she faced a technologically superior force. It made no logical sense yet. Zorla found herself admiring this quality. My commanders would not listen to reason, said Zorla. They would destroy your settlements without hesitation. Lily walked to a shelf, pulling down a small box. Inside was a collection of small devices similar to the one she had modified. I found more, she said, each one I improved. Show your leaders what humans can do. We can help each other instead of fighting. Zorla examined the devices, each one improved in ways her scientists hadn't imagined. This species had potential beyond what any Nexaran had predicted. Zorla made her decision. Let me take these to my ship. I will show my commander what your kind can do. Lily hesitated for a moment. What if you don't come back? What if they send someone else to capture me? Zorla considered this. The thought of another Nexaran harming this human bothered her more than it should. I will return, she promised. Take this. She removed a small device from her belt. It will hide you from our scanners. Lily took the device, their fingers briefly touching. Zorla felt an unfamiliar sensation at the contact. Something shifted in her understanding of these humans. They were not just specimens to study. They had worth beyond resources. As Zorla returned to her ship, she realized she was breaking every protocol in the Nexaran Conquest Manual. But the potential of what humans could offer was too great to ignore. Her commander would see reason. He had to. The scout ship hummed as it rose from the surface, heading to the mothership, hanging in orbit like a dark star. Zorla clutched the box of modified devices, preparing her argument. The fate of an entire species rested on her ability to convince her superiors. Commander Drax was not pleased. You were to capture a specimen, not engage in conversation. Zorla. His scales flashed red with anger. The conquest begins in 3 cycles. Zorla placed the box on the command table. Look at what they can do, she said. This primitive species took our technology and improved it. They offer cooperation, not submission. Drax examined the devices, his anger turning to curiosity. How is this possible? Their technological advancement is centuries behind ours. They think differently, Zorla explained. They see solutions. We miss if we destroy them. We lose this potential. This opportunity, for the first time in Nexaran history, the conquest protocols were questioned. Drax called the other commanders to examine the human modifications. Their surprise turned to interest, then to calculation. Perhaps there is another way, Drax said. Finally, we will meet with one of these humans. Bring this Lily to us. We will test her abilities. Zorla felt both relief and concern. She knew Lily would impress them, but Nexaran tests were designed for Nexaran minds. Would a human survive them? When Zorla returned to Earth, Lily was waiting. Her workshop now contained more modified Nexaran technology. She had been busy during Zorla's absence. My commanders wish to meet you, Zorla said. They want to test your abilities. Lily nodded as if she had expected this. What kind of tests? Zorla hesitated. Our tests are designed for our kind. They may be difficult, dangerous, even. Lily smiled. I like a challenge. The journey to the mothership was silent. Zorla watched as Lily stared out the viewport at her planet growing smaller below. Her face showed no fear, only wonder. The mothership was enormous, its dark corridors filled with Nexaran soldiers and scientists. They stared at the human as Zorla led her to the command center. Many had never seen a living human before. Commander Drax towered over Lily, his imposing form designed to intimidate. But the human stood tall, meeting his gaze without flinching. So you are the one who improved our technology, Drax said, his voice cold. You will now demonstrate this ability. The test chamber was designed to challenge the brightest Nexaran minds. Lily was given a series of broken devices, each more complex than the last. While the commanders watched, she worked. Her approach was different than any Nexaran would use. She didn't follow logical patterns or established theories. Instead, she seemed to intuit connections, seeing possibilities where Nexaran science saw none. Hours passed as the commanders watched in growing amazement. The human not only repaired the devices but improved them. One by one, the Nexaran scientists joined her, asking questions, working alongside her. Zorla watched with pride as Lily won over even the most skeptical commanders. Her hands moved with confidence, her mind racing ahead of questions, proving herself more valuable than any conquered world. By the final test, even Drax was impressed. He called his commanders together, their discussion heated. The conquest protocols had never been questioned before, but the evidence before them was undeniable. Zorla stood beside Lily as they waited for the decision. She found herself hoping for something she had never considered before, a peaceful resolution. The human touched her arm. "Are all your people like you?" she asked. Zorla considered the question. "No," she admitted. "We are taught from hatching that conquest is the way of the universe. The strong take from the weak. It is how we have always survived." Lily shook her head. "There are other ways to survive. Ways that make both sides stronger." Before Zorla could respond, Drax approached his decision. "We will delay the conquest," he announced. "This human has shown unusual abilities. We will study more of them before proceeding." It wasn't peace, but it was a start. Zorla felt relief wash over her. The planet would be spared, at least for now. Lily, however, was not satisfied. "Delay is not enough," she said boldly. "If you want to understand humans, you can't just study us like specimens. You need to work with us. Learn from us as we learn from you." The commanders were shocked at her directness. No conquered species had ever spoken to them this way. Drax towered over her, his scales flashing. "You propose an alliance?" he asked. Lily nodded. "Yes, an exchange of knowledge, technology, ideas." Drax turned to his commanders. The discussions grew more heated. Zorla watched, anxiously. This was unprecedented in Nexaran history. Finally, Drax turned back. "I will allow a small delegation to remain on your planet. We will establish a research outpost, an experiment in cooperation. If it proves beneficial, we may consider your proposal." It was more than Zorla had hoped for. She would lead the delegation, working directly with Lily and other humans. The conquest fleet would remain in orbit, a constant reminder of the threat still hanging over the planet. But it was a beginning. As they returned to Earth, Lily was quiet, finally asking, "What happens if your commanders decide humans aren't worth keeping around?" Zorla had no answer that would comfort her. The truth was that the Nexaran Empire had never chosen cooperation over conquest. But something was changing. Something this human had started. The delegation established their outpost near Lily's town. An uneasy relationship began between humans and Nexarans. Most humans were fearful, angry at the aliens hovering above their world. But some, like Lily, were curious, eager to learn. Zorla watched as Lily explained their situation to human leaders. Their reactions were mixed. Some wanted to fight immediately. Others saw the opportunity Lily represented. "We need to show them what humanity can offer," said one leader. A woman named Kate. Her eyes held the same determination as Lily's. "We need to make ourselves too valuable to destroy." Over the following weeks, more humans joined their work. Scientists, engineers, artists, even children came to the outpost. Each bringing different perspectives, the Nexaran delegation was overwhelmed by the diversity of human thought. Zorla found herself drawn to their creativity. Nexarans were logical, methodical. Their technology advanced through careful, incremental improvements, but humans made intuitive leaps, connections that defied logical progression. One night as they worked late, Lily asked Zorla about her homeworld. "What is Nexara like?" Zorla described the vast cities, the rigid hierarchy, the life dedicated to expansion and conquest. It sounded hollow now as she spoke of it. The endless cycle of taking, never creating, only conquering. "And are you happy there?" Lily asked. The question startled Zorla. Happiness was not a consideration in Nexaran. Society, duty, honor, conquest. These were the values they lived by. Yet here was this human concerned with happiness. "I never considered it," Zorla admitted. Lily smiled sadly. That might be the biggest difference between our species. As the days passed, more Nexaran scientists requested to join the delegation. Drawn by reports of human innovation, the small outpost grew. Collaboration yielded results that surprised both species. Zorla reported these developments to Drax. The commander remained skeptical. But intrigued, human unpredictability made them dangerous but also potentially valuable. Their chaotic thinking led to solutions no Nexaran would discover. Then came the breakthrough. Zorla and Lily reached the command center together. The human had insisted on joining the mission despite the danger. Drax was waiting for them, surrounded by loyal guards. "You betray your own kind for these primitives," he said. His voice cold with fury. Zorla stood tall. "I fight for a better future for both our kinds. Conquest destroys potential, cooperation builds it. These humans have shown me that." Drax laughed. "The High Command will never accept cooperation. They will send another fleet, then another. Your rebellion is pointless." Lily stepped forward. "Then it doesn't have to be," she said. "We brought something to show you." She activated a small device. The command center screens filled with images, data schematics, proof of what humans and Nexarans had achieved together, innovations that would have taken the Empire centuries to develop on their own. "This is just the beginning," Lily said. "Now imagine what we could accomplish in peace." For the first time, doubt crossed Drax's face. He studied the data, his scientific mind recognizing the value of what he saw. While they spoke, the battle continued across Earth. Nexaran ships disabled by the very technology they had helped create. The conquest faltering in the face of human ingenuity, combined with Nexaran knowledge. One by one, the ship's weapons went offline. The mighty invasion force neutralized not by force but by intelligence. Drax watched in disbelief as his conquest failed. "The High Command will destroy me for this failure," he said. "Not if you show them what they can gain instead." Zorla replied, "The Empire has conquered 17 worlds. What has it brought us? Resources. Yes, but stagnation as well. Our science advances slowly. Our culture is rigid, unchanging. We take, but we no longer create." Drax considered her words. Perhaps his loyalty should be to the advancement of his species, not just its expansion. The evidence before him was clear. Cooperation with these humans offered more than their subjugation ever could. The decision he made that day would reshape the Nexaran Empire. For the first time in its long history, a commander chose alliance over conquest. In the months that followed, a new relationship formed between humans and Nexarans. The invasion fleet became a diplomatic mission, the beginning of an exchange that benefited both species. On Nexara itself, there was resistance. The old ways had deep roots, but as innovations from Earth revolutionized their technology, minds began to change. Especially when delegations of humans visited, bringing their creativity, their different way of seeing the universe. Zorla became the ambassador between worlds. Building bridges. Where once she would have led conquests, she watched as human influence spread through Nexaran society, not as conquered subjects but as valued partners. The other conquered worlds too began to change, their people, seeing the example of Earth, demanding similar recognition, similar respect. The Empire transforming from within. Years passed. The small outpost, where it all began, grew into a thriving center of cooperation. A symbol of what was possible when different minds worked together. A place where Nexarans learned humanity, and humans learned the stars. Lily and Zorla stood on the same hill where they had first talked, watching the sunset, the golden sky now familiar to both of them. Below them, humans and Nexarans moved together, the boundaries between them fading. "I never expected this," Zorla said. "When I first landed here, I thought I would find primitives to study. Instead, I found a new way to live." Lily smiled. "The unexpected can be the most valuable thing we find, if we're open to seeing it." The mothership still hung in orbit, but now as a guardian, not a threat. Other ships came and went, bringing visitors, researchers, diplomats from both worlds and beyond. The beginning of something new in the galaxy. Sometimes the greatest discoveries are, and new worlds, Zorla thought, but new ways of seeing the worlds we already know. Across the stars, other Nexaran scouts began to look at conquered worlds with new eyes, wondering what they had missed in their rush for dominion. The end of conquest becoming the beginning of connection. What had started with one human and one alien meeting in a small workshop had grown to change two civilizations, and through them perhaps the galaxy itself. Lily took Zorla's hand together. They watched the first stars appear in the darkening sky, not conquerors and conquered but friends, each seeing the universe through new eyes because of the other. The unexpected human had changed everything. A young human named Maya, barely 20 years old, was working with Nexaran shield technology. She had been watching the energy patterns for days, fascinated by their flow. When she suggested a modification, the Nexaran scientists dismissed it. It contradicted their fundamental understanding of energy dynamics. But Lily encouraged her. "Try it," she said. "The worst that happens is, it doesn't work." To the Nexaran's shock, her modification worked. The shield strength increased by 40% using less energy. A modification that would have taken Nexaran scientists decades to discover if ever word of the breakthrough reached Drax. He demanded a demonstration. When the results were confirmed, he went silent. Then he asked the question that would change everything. How many more innovations could these humans provide? The answer became clear in the following weeks. Humans working alongside Nexarans produced advancement after advancement, their different perspectives complementing each other, their weaknesses balanced. By the other's strength, Zorla watched as the relationship between the species evolved from suspicion to curiosity to respect. She found herself changed as well, seeing her own culture from the outside for the first time. One evening as they watched the sunset, Lily asked her, "Do you still believe in conquest?" Zorla considered the question. "For thousands of years, my people have taken what we wanted from the galaxy. It seemed the natural order. But now I wonder what we might have gained if we had cooperated instead. How much potential was destroyed when we conquered?" Lily took her hand. "It isn't too late to change." The message from the mothership came without warning. Drax ordered Zorla and her entire delegation to return immediately. Analysis of the human innovations had convinced the High Command that humans were too dangerous to leave free. They would be conquered, contained their creativity, harnessed under Nexaran control. Zorla read the orders with growing horror. Everything they had built would be destroyed. The humans would be enslaved, their potential wasted in service to conquest. She knew what she had to do, even though it meant betraying everything she had been taught. She showed the orders to Lily. Their time had run out. That night, Zorla gathered the Nexaran scientists who had worked most closely with the humans. Many had formed bonds of friendship, even admiration. She told them of the High Command's decision. "We have a choice to make," she said. "We can obey orders and watch as this world is conquered, or we can stand with the humans." It was treason. The punishment was death. Yet one by one the scientists agreed. The humans had shown them another way to exist, one not built on domination, but on mutual growth. While the delegation prepared their defense, Lily gathered the human leaders. The news spread quickly. Humanity would not submit without a fight, but their weapons were no match for Nexaran technology. "We don't need to match their weapons," said Lily. "We need to surprise them." The plan they formed was desperate, risky, but it played to human strengths, unpredictability, creativity, determination. When Drax forces landed expecting submission, they found the outpost empty, the delegation and their human allies gone. The commander was furious, ordering a global search. His anger grew when Zorla transmitted a message. "We stand with humanity," she declared. "We have seen what cooperation can achieve. Your way leads only to stagnation. Conquest may bring temporary power, but innovation comes from freedom." Drax deployed his forces to the largest human cities. The conquest of Earth had begun. But something was wrong. His ship's sensors malfunctioned. Communications failed. Shield systems fluctuated across the planet. The modifications, developed by humans and Nexaran defectors, were being implemented. Subtle changes to Nexaran technology, creating weaknesses only they knew about. The battle was not fought with weapons but with knowledge. The humans couldn't match Nexaran firepower, but they could outsmart it. The technologies they had helped improve they now knew how to disable. Zorla led a small team aboard the mothership itself, using access codes that hadn't been changed, their mission to reach the Central Command to show Drax what he was destroying. The alarms blared as they fought their way through the ship. Nexaran soldiers confused by orders to fire on their own kind. Some joined them, others fought. The mothership became a battleground, not of conquest, but of ideas.